Today we're checking out the new Poco X7 Pro from Xiaomi. Pricing for this starts around $300 depending on where you get it from, but I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. I gotta say, this mid-range phone has some pretty good specs. It's got the MediaTek Dimensity 8400 Ultra processor with 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM. It's on Android 15, Hyper OS 2. It starts with 256 gigabytes of storage, goes up to 512. It also has IP68 dust and water resistance as well. It's got a 6.67-inch AMOLED display with 2712 by 1220 resolution with up to 120 Hz refresh rate. Also has up to 3200 nits peak brightness, which is kind of crazy. It also uses Gorilla Glass 7i and it weighs just under 200 grams. I've got to say, the screen quality on here is really nice. Blacks are nice and dark with good contrast and good viewing angles as well. I think this will compete with a lot of flagship phones as far as screen quality in my opinion. Nice thing is it comes with its own case that's pretty flexible. Seems like nice quality. I like the build quality overall, but because it's so shiny there on the back, it seems to pick up quite a few fingerprints. There's a couple other variations with yellow on the back. There's a green one. They even have an Iron Man edition for this phone as well. It actually has an IR blaster there on the top, which you really don't see that on any phone in the United States anymore. You've got the speaker there on the bottom with your SIM card slot. Unfortunately, you can't use a micro SD card with this, but it does have dual SIM slots. The case that comes with this has a nice and clean design to it. When setting up, you can choose between the launcher that has an app drawer or without. You also have gesture or 3-button navigation. Looks like it's using about 32 gigabytes so far, but I feel like 256 gigabytes should last quite a while for most people. The one thing I do notice is they have quite a few apps that are pre-installed on here, like Facebook, TikTok, and a handful of other mobile games. Luckily, you can uninstall those if you want. It probably has the most wallpaper options that I've seen on a phone. They really lets you customize this phone to look pretty much however you want. It also has the fingerprint scanner right on the front, which seems to work pretty quick, seems reliable so far. But the software on here is going to be pretty similar to most other Xiaomi phones, which is probably a good idea considering once you're used to one of these, then it makes it easy to switch to other Xiaomi brands. You've got Google Discover left of the home screen. You can see up in the control center, you've got pretty much every shortcut you can think of, from floating windows to Mi Remote, screen recorder, and so on. They really pack a lot of features on here. Performance on here is actually pretty good. If you look at the Geekbench scores, it's pretty comparable to the Galaxy S24 FE, which costs quite a bit more than this phone. It also plays games like PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends Unite. Pretty smooth on here as well. I think if you like to play mobile games on your phone, this one seems to do pretty well in my testing. It also has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, at least for the global version, and it comes with a large 90-watt charging brick, so it only takes about 42 minutes to charge from 0 to 100%. They also advertise up to 14.5 hours of continuous use, but I actually got about 16 hours in my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and that's on the auto refresh rate setting, which still is pretty impressive compared to others I've tested. So you should be able to get a couple days minimum with this phone, depending on how you use it. I think the speakers on here are probably loud enough for most things. Not going to be the best out there, but definitely have good sound quality. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of how it sounds. As far as the cameras go, you've got a 50 megapixel main lens on the back with an 8 megapixel ultra wide and then 20 megapixel front facing camera, and you can shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second for video recording on the back. In the camera app, you've got Pro, Documents, Video, Photo, Portrait, Night. You also have 50 megapixel long exposure and dual video, just to name a few. There's hardly any delay when taking photos, and at first glance, I think the camera quality on here seems really nice. Here's a few samples just to give you an idea of what to expect. To me, it's sort of crazy how good this phone is. I don't think most people could tell a difference in camera quality on this phone compared to phones that cost twice as much. It definitely feels like you're getting more than your money's worth. Really, after testing this for a while, it really makes me wish we could get more phones like this in the United States. It's got good specs, nice build quality, good performance as well. I also like the design on this over what you get on the back of OnePlus phones. But if you can get this phone and it works with your network, it's definitely worth checking out in my opinion. But if you like phones, tablets, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on, so keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.